So my name's Elsa. I am a registered dietitian. I graduated from UCLA in '07. I was an international development, global studies minor, international development major. And this is my second career, obviously. And so I did get my master's in nutrition science from USC. Sorry, guys. And don't hate me. But I'm happy to be here with you today and to be able to share some of the information that I've learned along my career as a dietitian, and hopefully it can be helpful and beneficial to you. Okay, so thank you again for joining this conversation. I know everyone kind of wants to know, what do I do to stay healthy? And we are living in very crazy times, and due to COVID and all. But like I was having a conversation with Monica earlier, and I'm really glad people are joining in, because I think learning how to support your immune system and just kind of maintain your overall health is important year round, and every year. It doesn't matter if we're going through a global pandemic or not. We should always strive to kind of live a healthier lifestyle for our own benefit, to avoid chronic diseases, avoid being more susceptible to like cancer or viruses, and also to be able to thrive and into as we age, extend our longevity. So for all these reasons, it's important that we care for our health and care to maintain our immune system in an optimal way. So let's get started. So the objectives for today's presentation is hopefully you guys will be able to learn, how this immune system works, and also be able to identify factors that impair our immune system. And at the end, we'll obviously get into the lifestyle factors that can really strengthen our immune system. And that's what we all really care about, right? Okay, so what is the immune system? The immune system is a system. It's a very complex system that, is composed of different organs, tissues, cells, and proteins, and they are set up to defend us against infection, against invaders in general, right? And the immune system is able to keep a record of every germ and microbe it has ever defeated. So it can recognize and destroy it when it comes into contact again. Okay. And really just kind of think about your immune system as like your car, okay? Like a car, if you don't change the spark plugs, if you don't, change the oil filters, if you don't do all these things together, or it will not work efficiently. If you can't just like change the oil and not change the oil filter, or else your car is not going to run the same, right? So that's basically how our body works too. So we have to be doing things in conjunction in order for our system to maintain itself healthy. Okay, so the immune system is composed of two subsystems, which is our innate immune system, and that's basically the immune system that we're born with. And then we have also the adaptive immune system, which is what you develop. Okay. And the difference between the innate system and the adaptive immune system is that the innate system is like provides a more general defense, and the adaptive immune system, it really targets specific threats. So I'm going a little faster through these slides because this is just basically, review, a little background to it, okay? And these are all the cells that comprise our immune system. We got your B cells and your T cells, your macrophages. And these are the different organs of the immune system. And in these organs is where we have the immune cells. So we have immune cells in the bone marrow, we have it in the thymus gland, in the spleen, which a lot of people don't really know what the spleen does, but now we know it's part of our immune system. Um, and a lot of there's research that current research that talks about, that believes, I should say, that the thymus gland, the reason why a lot of as we age, we are more prone to like get cancers or more susceptible to diseases, because the thymus gland, excuse me, shrinks in size, and therefore also shrinks, the capability of it to produce T cells also reduces. So there's theories that that might be a reason why, as we age, or since we don't have the same amount of T cells, that could affect the reason why people, get more cancers, are more prone to diseases and stuff. But that's not like conclusive research. It's just research that has been done, but not supported by other researchers. Okay. And so, like, these are just, again, to reinforce, these are some of the organ system organs. You got your bone marrow, which is like probably the most important, because that's where all the white blood cells develop and spread throughout the body. You got your lymph nodes, because your lymphatic system is definitely a big part of your immune system. The lymphatic vessels, the spleen, the thymus, the tonsils. The tonsils are super key also to protect our immune system. So I always cringe when people are like, "Oh, I got my tonsils taken out." I'm like, no. Okay, so how does the immune system function? Very simple. The immune system it's made to identify a threat, to then mount an attack, and then eliminate the pathogen. And this is over a series of time. So all that happens to protect your body. I really want to kind of spend a little bit more time talking about. So what are the things that are really kind of affecting our immune system and making us sick? So diets that are high processed and that contain a lot of sugar, chronic stress, lack of sleep, overexhaustion, for sure. It is so important that you get good sleep if you want to keep good health overall, because during your sleep time is when your body kind of restores itself, and when when you deprive it of sleep, you don't give it the opportunity to renew itself and to restore itself. So, and unfortunately, the type of lifestyle that we usually live, these three are basically the top three are the ones that get everyone, right? We're all kind of eating like a high processed diet. We're all under a lot of stress, especially right now, and a lot of times we're under just running on a little bit of sleep, 3 hours, 4 hours. Definitely, if you're malnourished, obviously your immune system is going to be impaired. If you have nutrient deficiencies, like if you're low on vitamin D or low in zinc, low in B vitamins, magnesium, all these things can definitely impair your immune system. Smoking is a big one. Excessive alcohol consumption will definitely impair your immune system, because when you drink excessively, you're also kind of killing your gut microbiome, and your gut microbiome is very important to your immune system. So if you're killing off the good, because alcohol is alcohol, right? So when you drink alcohol, you're killing off bad bacteria in your intestines and good bacteria. So that's why it throws off your gut microbiome. And your gut microbiome, like I said, is very important to maintain a good immune system. And then, of course, like I said, a dysbiosis of the gut microbiome, and then having multiple comorbidities. If you have like obesity, diabetes, or you have diabetes and hypertension, or you have hypertension and high cholesterol, all these things weaken your immune system, because that means that your body's in a chronic state of inflammation, and like inflammation rings the alarms in the immune system, and to attack, to always be under attack, and that stresses your body. So that's why it's important to take care of or try to manage your comorbidities, because you can manage all of those that I mentioned: high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity. You can manage, and also hypertension. Definitely, they're all manageable. And then, of course, as we age, so biological aging, that's more like internally, right? Because you can be my age and just have very poor lifestyle habits, and my biological age can be way older than someone who is 65. So it just depends on what kind of lifestyle choices you're making that can really impair your immune system. So how can we ward off illness and maintain our immune system working optimally? By making healthy lifestyle choices. Okay, so again, sleep. It's so critical to get a good night's sleep, and not just like sleep like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed early and I'm gonna be on my phone for an hour or two and then finally go to sleep. It's like really kind of developing a good bed hygiene, so you develop a routine. Try to relax before going to bed so that your mind can be clear. Whether it's like journaling, or whether you're gonna read a little bit before you go to bed, or you turn off electronics at least 1 or 2 hours before you go to bed, so that you're no longer looking at that light that the phone emits. And secondly, eating whole foods. So important to stay away from that processed diet and focus more on eating real whole foods. And the reason why it's important to eat real whole foods is because that's where you find the most nutrients, the most phytonutrients. And phytonutrients are essentially nutrients that, there's over 25,000 phytonutrients, but you can tell when a produce has phytonutrients by its color. So for example, if you're eating grapes, that's a different type of phytonutrient versus because of the color that's purple versus the color of tomatoes because it's red, or the watermelon. So you have the red color that would give you the flavonoids, and there's a variety of flavonoids. They're like lycopene. Lycopene is a big one, and lycopene is noted to fight against cancer. So eating a lot of red fruits and vegetables, eating a lot of different colorful fruits and vegetables, essentially eating the rainbow, right? Another big one, reducing our stress. And this was easier said than done, because we're all constantly under a lot of stress, whether it's family, work, you name it, financial stuff. Unfortunately, the American lifestyle is very conducive to promoting a lot of stress in people's lives, and that is it's a big one. It's a major one. It affects our immune system a lot, because it, like I said, it puts our immune system under a lot of stress as well, and creates this inflammation in our body. Stress creates inflammation in our body, and that's why it puts our immune system under a lot of stress. So trying to find our own mechanisms that help us reduce our stress levels or manage our stress levels is very important. Whether it's going for a walk, whether it's journaling. A lot of people like to write or journal, do yoga, meditate, things like that are going to help you eliminate stress. But I can't stress enough how important it is to really have that under control, because sometimes stress literally can trigger disease. So it's super important that we focus on kind of getting that under control. And there's a lot of books out there that are helping, that help people, you know, reduce stress. Like there's like mindfulness books. I have one myself because I'm the type of person that stresses a lot, but doesn't really like realize that I'm under stress until like my body like shuts down or my body tells me, okay, something's going on. So it's very important for me to manage my stress levels. I know that, so I'm very proactive about that. Even as something as simple as taking a long walk can really go a long way, especially when you're in a situation where, you know, someone's making you angry or someone's stressing you out. Sometimes the best thing to do is kind of leave the room and go for a walk and calm down. We already talked about limiting intake of refined and processed foods. So limiting sugar intake in our diet is very important. Fortunately, again, like the American diet is very conducive to us eating large amounts of processed foods and sugary foods. Like, just for example, a lot of times for breakfast, what do we have? Cereal, right? Cereal, because it's a quick and easy choice. Unfortunately, cereal's filled with so much sugar, and then there's milk, there's sugar in the milk, and then maybe you on the way out you might grab a, I don't know, like a muffin or something. So right there for breakfast you just had like so much sugar, and so that's how you're going to start off your day, and that's not a healthy way to start off your day. Again, a healthier breakfast choice would be like, I'm gonna do, you know, some quick eggs or maybe 2 boiled eggs, and maybe have I don't know, your cup of coffee with 2 eggs and some avocado and some tomato slices and an olive oil on top, you know, something like that, more like that. Or maybe you're going to have some beans with some huevos rancheros, and even the beans, because the beans have fiber, are going to be way healthier than having a bowl of cereal, you know. So something like that. And you know, and then at work, when we're at work, we're stressed out at work, so we're gonna go to the vending machine and we're gonna grab a soda and we're gonna grab some cookies or you know. So it's all this processed food that's really like having an impact on our immune system, because through the process of us always eating these ultra processed foods, we're creating inflammation in our bodies, and the inflammation is what's impairing our immune system. Okay. And then, of course, smoking. We all know smoking is not a healthy lifestyle choice. So if you smoke, make an effort to cut back. Cut back slowly. Some people can go cold turkey, others, you know, can't. It's hard. It's a harder process. But if today you smoke 10 cigarettes a day, tomorrow aim to go down to 7. You know, it's little steps like that that eventually going to get you to your goal. Again, we talked about drinking alcohol in moderation, because, you know, there's research out there that shows that if you drink, you know, a glass of wine with your meal, that it's actually, you know, beneficial. And then the red wine also has a phytonutrient called resveratrol, and it's shown to promote longevity. I know that there's studies in like that they've done in like Italy, where it shows that, you know, when people have you know, extended their longevity because they eat a Mediterranean diet, and on top of that they also they drink wine in moderation. So, you know, drinking in moderation is okay. It's when we do things excessively that it throws everything off. And that goes for anything. So these are some of other phytonutrients. I just wanted to show you guys so why it's so important to eat the rainbow. And that's kind of like something that I personally practice. Like, I like to have my plate colorful. The more colorful it is, it just kind of gives me reassurance that I'm eating a good meal, like a healthy meal that's going to give me a lot of nutrients, right? Because you don't want to just eat just to eat. You want to eat to really nourish your body and maintain your health. So you got your reds, your lycopene, like I said before. Your quercetin is also very good. And then you got your purples over here, like we talked about with the resveratrol. And then you got your greens that have the lutein, the whites that have the quercetin as well, and then your oranges have the beta carotene, and it kind of gives a little explanation of like what some of these phytonutrients support. So, and also another thing that's very important is that we engage in some kind of movement, exercise. And it doesn't mean, going to the gym for an hour and like, lifting weights like crazy. It means like really like I said, taking a walk, taking a long walk, walking for a mile or 2, 3 miles, engaging in yoga. That's so powerful because you're moving your body, you're moving your lymphatic system. So it's allowing for the immune cells that are found in those lymphatic organs to move around. Okay. Because actually it's shown, research shows that if you do a lot of like hardcore exercise all the time, that actually puts your body in a state of inflammation, and that's what we don't want. We don't want our body in the state of inflammation. So easy movements, light exercising, nothing too crazy, but movement is essential. And in fact, in like the blue zones, I don't know if you guys have heard of the blue zones, but in the blue zones where people are, where researchers have studied like centenarians, it's where they have the most centenarians in different blue zones throughout the world. And so what is shown is that centenarians, their lifestyle has always been like, they engage in like easy movement all the time, and even up until their older age, when they're already 90, 100, they're doing like walking, something so simple as like walking, but they do a lot of walking. That's shown to really help with our longevity and maintaining good health. Vitamin D. So vitamin D is, again, super important. It's a really important vitamin. It supports our immune system as well. And vitamin D, active vitamin D, is a hormone. So once the vitamin D turns into active vitamin D, it becomes a hormone and it supports our immune system. So it's important to get some sun, but don't go out in the sun at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Get some sun early in the morning, and to get those early morning rays, or get some sun in the late afternoon. But it is important to get outside and get some sun that way. Or you can also supplement through supplements. A lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. So it is important to, when you go to the doctor, get your labs done. And ask your doctor, can I get my labs, for vitamin D, or can I get a micronutrient panel done, because I want to know if I'm low in zinc or I'm low in other important vitamins and minerals that support our immune system. We talked about how to support, well, we didn't really go into how to support your microbiome, but a good way to support your microbiome is really by eating like fermented foods, minimizing your alcohol intake, getting good sleep. Fermented foods include like, sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, pickles, stuff like that. But it's also important to support your microbiome and add probiotics to your diet by also taking prebiotics. And prebiotics you can get from all fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are the prebiotics because they have fiber, and the fiber is the food to the probiotics. So if you're eating a lot of fiber, which is found in like fruits and vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds, then you're giving the food you're giving the food to the probiotics that they need to thrive and survive. Practice good hygiene. Obviously, we've been very, alert to that during these times. We are all practicing good hygiene now. I hope washing our hands all the time, making sure that we are also taking good good care of our oral hygiene as well, because a lot of diseases, they kind of come about through the mouth. So practicing good oral hygiene is very important. And when you practice good oral hygiene, brushing your teeth twice a day, flossing, that also supports your gut microbiome. Because if you don't have good oral hygiene, then the bad bacteria, there's gonna be an overgrowth of bad bacteria in your mouth that are gonna probably go down all the way to your gut bacteria. Okay, so that's very important. Drinking plenty of water, of course. Drinking plenty of water is key. Just helps move everything along, and all your cells require water. So it's very important that we're constantly, replenishing our body with water, especially if we're active, if we're moving. Every time we we move or sweat, we urinate, we're getting rid of fluids, so we have to replenish our fluids so that we don't become dehydrated. So that's very important. And then this one, the building community and connections, that's also very important and to maintain a healthy immune system, because there's actually research that shows that the more connected you feel to, whether it's your family, whether it's your significant other, or just friends in general, the more of a social community that you have, the happier you are. And then that releases hormones that are called oxytocin. And so those hormones support our immune system as well. So building community is very, just makes us happy. It makes us happy and puts us in a good mental state. And again, the good thing about that is that the outcome is that you are in good health, and it's supporting your immune system. So it's super important that, I know it's kind of difficult during these times, but even just picking up the phone and staying connected with people, whether it's through phone, whether it's through Zoom, or, FaceTime, whatever mechanism you use, it is important to keep up with those relationships. Or even if you have a dog, hug your dog. That'll make you happy. If you have a dog or a cat, I don't know, if you're a cat person, hug your animals, and that actually kind of, like I said, that also releases the hormone oxytocin into your system and supports your immune system. So those are the key, I think, the key choices that we need to start making. And we're all at a different place in our health journey, but it's just know that it's never too late to start, no matter at what age you are, and it's worth it. It's worth it, because we're all looking forward to getting older, but we want to do it in a very healthy way, right? We want to continue to be strong and independent, and all these lifestyle choices that we make really make the impact, can make the difference as well. So these are some foods that I think are really beneficial to just kind of like supporting our immune system, because they have different properties that really benefit our body. So for example, like onions and garlics, they're known to be antibacterial, antimicrobial, and so cooking or eating onion and garlic on a regular basis is very important. Not to mention, they also have phytonutrients, the quercetin, which is really helpful. It actually, quercetin is known to help with keeping allergies at bay. So if you're a person that suffers a lot from allergies, seasonal allergies, you might want to consider either taking quercetin supplement, talking to your doctor about that, or adding just more quercetin-rich foods. Berries, we talked about berries and how they have flavonoids. Berries we know are very anti-inflammatory. So berries are a good one to kind of have on a regular basis. Unfortunately, we can get them frozen, so when they're off season, so that's nice. And then of course citrus. The citrus, has a lot of vitamin C. And actually our immune system really requires vitamin C to stay healthy, especially the leukocytes. those cells require a lot of vitamin C in order to mount their attack against invaders. Mushrooms. Mushrooms are wonderful. They're delicious, in my opinion, and they help to modulate the immune system as well. And they also have, believe it or not, fiber that is very beneficial to our gut, to our microbiome. And they're really just an overall like great vegetable, I think. Ginger. Ginger is also known to be very anti-inflammatory. So that's a good one to always include. And I like to use ginger like in my smoothies. If people are like, oh, ginger in smoothies, that's not gonna taste good, but it actually tastes really good. I do like a mango banana ginger smoothie with like coconut milk. It tastes amazing. I love it. Bone broth, because it's rich in minerals and it also has a lot of protein in there, and protein is also necessary to maintain a good immune system. And then turmeric. Oh yeah, turmeric is, one of the big ones. Very anti-inflammatory, can definitely help us keep or help us maintain or manage, I should say, like if we're having like, if we're diabetic, if we have high cholesterol, so turmeric is one of those that can just help us control that inflammation. So it's very good to include in our foods as well. And you can do the powder, you can do the actual root, you can put it in smoothies, you can do like a carrot turmeric kind of curry, there's different ways you can include it. And if you wanna, if you're curious how you can include turmeric into your foods or diet, email me and I can send you some ideas. Coconut oil as well. It's very antimicrobial, so that's a good one. And greens. Oh, greens, of course. Can't forget about your greens. Greens have so many vitamins and minerals, and they're so key to helping us maintain the function of our nervous system. And then wild salmon, I put it on here just because it's also has a lot of good fats, and so it's very anti-inflammatory. A lot of good omega-3 fats. So any food that's high in omega-3, like flaxseed or flaxseed powder, or walnuts, sardines, tuna, those are all rich in omega-3s. So including those foods into our diet is very important as well. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to eat a lot of fat, but people think fat is bad for you, but fat is actually good fat. I should say good fat is good for your brain and for your heart, and good fat helps us maintain our hormones and working properly, and they're anti-inflammatory, and they keep like the bad fats stable and at a good level. So if we're not eating enough omega-3 fats, then our bad fats are going to rise. So it's very important to also include fats, good fats, with our meals. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? So we're gonna go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have any questions, before we open it up to questions, I just want to thank everyone for their time, and hopefully this was a little bit helpful, and hopefully you learned something today. And let me know if there's something I could have done different. My email's contacts right there, or just in general if you have any questions. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
On public television, they had a nutrition expert, Dr. Joel Furman, who wrote a book called Eat to Live, and he had a list of 6 foods that are essential to life, and one of them was mushrooms, and he said, be sure you get your mushrooms because they're important for the immune system. And so he thinks that they're one of the most important things you can eat to regulate the immune system. And you had a whole list of things, and mushrooms is just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been buying them, even though they're not cheap, and putting them in my salads.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, yeah, mushrooms are fantastic. They have a lot of properties, and different mushrooms have different properties. They help they help you with controls, your stress levels, your cortisol levels. Like I said, a lot mushrooms also have a fiber called beta glucans, and they help educate the immune system. So all that is very important. That's why, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that it's really not like, eat this and you're gonna just be amazing and great health. It's like if we look at the healthy lifestyle choices, it's like a number of things, right? So we have to, our body works as a system, right? So it doesn't just want you to do one thing. It wants you to eat, whole foods, but at the same time, it also wants you to enjoy life, be happy, be joyful. It wants you to move and be active, ride your bike, walk, swim, whatever. It wants you to get sunshine, be outside. It wants you to, don't not give it drugs and or not smoke. Don't intoxicate your body by smoking. It wants it for you to not put it in under chronic stress all the time through like our habits, like stressing out and stuff. So all these things work in conjunction to really help our body be in a healthy state. And so when you're not overall if you're just picking and choosing, oh, I'm just gonna focus on like my diet, unfortunately that's not really gonna do much. You're not gonna see too much of a difference. You might see yourself losing weight for sure. You might, but it's not in terms of like really maintaining a good health, being in optimal health. You have to kind of work on all these things at once to really create that homeostasis that your body needs.
Yeah, I wonder what's more important, mushrooms or turmeric?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be turmeric. It could be other anti-inflammatory, foods like we talked about, like ginger, garlic, berries, all these different types. That's why it's really, I'm stressing like eat the rainbow. If you're eating the rainbow with, making sure that your meals are colorful, then you're good, because that's what your body needs. Your body needs variety, because your body is so complex, and it really requires so much nutrients and vitamins to work optimally. So if you're not getting that variety in your diet, you can't provide all those nutrients to your body that it really needs to function in an optimal state.
Elsa, I know it's ideal to have, to eat real foods, but I'm wondering what your thoughts are on like vitamins and supplements. So like, for example, fish oil pills or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think that that you really should try to go and see a doctor first. See a doctor, get your labs done, and in your labs, if there's a deficiency or a deficiency comes up in certain vitamins and minerals, then at that point I would say, yeah, it's a good idea to supplement. You don't want to just supplement just to supplement because you're scared, or because you think that it's the way you're going to stay healthy. Because a lot of times with supplements, it's a little tricky because supplements are not regulated. So if you just go up and buy any supplement, you're not really sure, what you're really getting into your body. And also sometimes like the dosage that they promise you on the bottle is incorrect. So I think when you go to a doctor and you realize, okay, I'm actually not deficient in, in vitamin D or vitamin A or whatever, then, one, it saves you money. Two, you don't have to eat something that you don't have to ingest something that you don't really need. And so just kind of be mindful with that. I know like right now I see a lot online and on social media, like go get your IV bag, and boost your immune system. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be just very expensive urine. So just make sure that your body actually needs it. And of course, when your body does need it, then I think it's appropriate to, supplement, especially vitamin D, because a lot of times, not a lot of foods, we can't get vitamin D from a lot of foods. So I think that, and a lot of people unfortunately are deficient in vitamin D because we're not really outside, or life is not conducive to always being outside. We're mainly indoors and working indoors. So I think that has to do with the reason why a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. So I think that if you get your labs done and it comes out that you are deficient in vitamin D, your doctor will most likely prescribe the supplement that they think is the most appropriate for you. So it's very important always just to know where you're at and not just kind of guess and think that that's what you should just be taking this supplement because you need it.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Elsa?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Robert here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. Does food freshness count in terms of nutrition? As an example, the box of mushrooms that I've had in my refrigerator for a month, is it any less nutrition valuable than it was the first day I bought it?
Well, it definitely won't be. It won't taste as good, and it might upset your stomach if it's already building mold. So
no, not molded, but I mean, it's just been sitting. It's still a good food, but it just has a long shelf life.
Yeah. Well, it's.
I use mushrooms as an example. Or let me ask the question another way. I'm lucky enough. I like to grow tomatoes, and I just ate some tomatoes out of my garden. Are they theoretically better for me than tomatoes that might be sitting on my counter for a couple weeks?
Not necessarily. I think freshness. Obviously, they have a better taste. I would say like more palatable. But I think the vitamins are still there. It's when you start to alter the protein of the produce itself that it kind of loses some nutrients. So when you alter the protein, like when you start cooking it, or if you cook it down too much, then when you start altering the protein, that's when it starts kind of changing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Elsa, that question made me think of something else. So with the example of mushrooms, is there a difference between fresh mushrooms and eating canned mushrooms as far as, helping your immune system or your nutrients?
Honestly, I don't think so, because canned mushrooms can also be fresh. They preserve them when they're at their best, and then they just preserve them in the can. Obviously, again, like fresh mushrooms that you just picked or got from the farmer's market are going to taste better, and they're probably a little bit, probably have a little bit more, how would you say it? Just a different taste and texture, right? They're just a little bit more fresher, so you think they're going to be better. But I think at the end of the day, if you want to get vegetables in you, and you don't have access to going to the farmer's market, and maybe you just have access to like canned foods or frozen foods, then that's okay. That's okay, because at least you'll still be getting some of the vitamins of that produce, of that specific mushroom or whatever it is. But a lot of times, like I said, like when they can them up or when they freeze them up, they do it so when they're ripe. For example, blueberries, you can buy them frozen. They freeze them when they're at their peak, sort of say. And so you can have them in the freezer all year long and they'll still be good. You'll still get the same nutrients from them. Any other questions?
Did you actually list some things that where turmeric is actually in him, or is it really easier to get that by a supplement?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the first part of your question.
Sorry, the turmeric. I was wondering if you had said some foods, or you said we could ask you if there were foods that have that in them.
Oh, the turmeric is a root. And then what I said was that if you're just curious how you can include, what kind of recipes you can include turmeric in, then I can definitely give you some ideas.
Sure.
I've had turmeric in tea.
Yeah.
I found some in tea, and those are helpful. I take them because I like to run sometimes, and then like my knees hurt, so then I take like some turmeric tea sometimes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, you can definitely do turmeric tea. They do the golden lattes where it's like warm milk and like turmeric powder, and some people put like honey or whatever. You can do that. You can do you can put them in smoothies. You can, like I said, you can make like a soup with them, like add it to like a carrot, curry soup or any soup really.
So does it usually come powdered or does it come in the root form?
You can get it powdered and in the root form. The root is the original form. It kind of looks like a little bit like ginger, but it's smaller and skinnier, and it's obviously like an orangey color. So you can either do that or you can go ahead and just get the powder form.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And the powder form, you can also add it to, soups. You can even add it to eggs just to make them a little bit more yellow. Or if you don't like egg yolk and you just want to simulate that you are eating egg yolks, you can just do the egg whites and then put it onto the eggs, do a scramble. You can put it you can actually season chicken with it and give it like that yellow color. A lot of times you see that yellow color, and usually that's like a seasoning that people use. But if you want to make a healthier version, you can just go ahead and season your chicken with some turmeric powder and just give it that yellow color. You can do all kinds of things with it. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your attention, and I hope this was helpful. Like I said, I think what I want to stress, and I hope you guys get out of it the most, is that our bodies are very intricate and they're very complex, and just by doing or eating one thing, it's not gonna give us that optimal health that we're looking for. It's not gonna be if we just eat turmeric all the time, it's we're gonna start probably getting a little bit of orange tint on our skin, but it's not good. But if you're like under constant stress from your work, from your family, or if you're not really moving, you're just kind of getting home and you're too tired and sitting on the couch, you can eat all the turmeric you want. Your body's still not gonna you're not gonna be able to achieve that optimal health that you're really looking for, because again, it really depends on us doing all of these things in conjunction to really achieve that homeostasis, healthy state that our body wants us to be in. Thank you so much, guys, for joining and coming, and I hope you enjoyed it.